Motion is approved. We're going to go to the approval of the meeting minutes. They were sent to us by the office. We need to approve the meetings. If there's any addition or correction, please mention it. Or if not, we need a commissioner to make a motion. I will make a motion to approve of the meetings minutes of May 5th.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Song. Commissioner Batillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosario,
Yes.
Commissioner Ridar.
Yes.
Okay, the motion was approved. Thank you very much. Public forum. Interested public members may provide comments to the commission on any subject not on the agenda via Zoom. Commenters may state their name and addresses for the record and shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less as determined by the chair. As an agendized item, no response is required of the commission or city staff. However, the commission may request staff to agendize the item for a future meeting. Do we have any member of the public, Robert?
There are no public comments at this time.
Thank you. Any announcements?
There are no announcements at this time.
It's going to be a nice, quick meeting. Let's move to number 9, business item, National Night Out. We will get a presentation from the Milpitas Police Department to
Yes.
provide an update of the National Night Out.
So let me just bring, so we have Sergeant Jason Speckenhauer from Milpitas Police Department. This is a part of our work plan, and he's here to provide the CAC with an update as to the most current information that we have at this time regarding the event. So I'm going to bring him in, and then he should be able to unmute and speak. So Sergeant Speckenhauer, can you hear us? You can unmute. Hey, there you are.
Hey, you guys doing? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So my name is Jason Speckenhauer. I'm a sergeant with Milpitas PD, and I am in charge of our police community relations unit at the station. Part of my job is to do a lot of the community outreach and events, such as National Night Out, Coffee with Cops, those types of things. Obviously, within the last year or so, it's been a little unorthodox for not just everyone, but ourselves. A lot of our events, which we usually try and do in person, have become either virtual or canceled as a result. Even last year, we did a torch run. It was a virtual video that we had to submit, and we weren't able to do it in person. This year, as of right now, it sounds like the national group that heads up National Night Out, they are planning to move forward. It's going to be taking place the first Tuesday within August, which I believe is the 3rd. As for us as a department, we are trying to do what we can to plan as if it's going to be taking place. As of right now, the challenge for us is kind of like with everybody else is we're waiting on to see what happens on June 15th in terms of either restrictions or what the state decides, as well as what if the county falls in line with what the state decides to do, or if it's going to be something that if the county decides to be more restricted, we will have to follow that. As part of our pre-planning, we've kind of been starting to collect names and make contact with some of our HOA members within the city, as well as some of our neighborhood watch groups and captains, and kind of reach out to them to find out who's either interested in participating, who's willing to host, or even kind of gauging in terms of what people's involvement. Because even throughout this year, we found that a lot of people are pretty hesitant in terms of kind of stepping back out into the public a little bit. It's kind of, there's a little bit of nerve-wrackingness to it. As of right now, we have about 35 either Neighborhood Watch or HOA members who still want to move forward and are willing to participate and host for the National Night event. We have 8 that are no, that they do not want to participate, and we haven't been given any information in terms of a neighbor or another person in that neighborhood who's be willing to maybe step up and take that place. So we're trying to also maybe ascertain that. But as of right now, we have 8 no's of our current existing list. We have 17 maybes because there's a lot of people that still want to find out exactly what it is they want to, or how they want to participate, or how it's going to be maybe arranged, or what some of the guidelines or restrictions might be if the event is to take place. And then we've had about 12 people that haven't responded to our either emails or voicemail. So we've reached out through email, we've reached out to voicemail, and we're still waiting to hear back from 12 people. So it's kind of one of those things we're going to keep reaching out and kind of keep trying to, we've been doing this throughout the year where we try and reach out once a month to all of our Neighborhood Watch and HOA groups to see if they need any assistance for Neighborhood Watch meetings or any other info that might be going on that could affect them and their neighbors. So we'll continue to do that. But as of right now, that is where we're at. So I'm seeing if people can still hear me, I'm seeing a question in terms of what is National Night Out exactly. So National Night Out is an organization where we try and bring together the community, because when the community comes together and starts talking, that's when we feel good things start happening. People get to know each other, people understand who their neighbor is, and they kind of get an understanding of where, just not only more about the person, but they also kind of get more of a better idea of their neighborhood, so that there's a better idea of that public safety where people can look out for each other. And it was created to kind of bring people together so that people learn to know each other's names, their faces, get to know their families, and kind of understand that, we're not just isolated in our homes, but we're actually members of the community. And we just try and bring everyone together. And National Night Out is a way to celebrate that.
Thank you, Sergeant, for your report. At this point, as you mentioned, and yes, I was contacted by your staff. At this point, what it seems is that we are moving forward with the National Night Out, unless we hear something different. My question will be how we can help MPD to be sure that we have at least several neighborhoods that can host a National Night Out that at this point either we didn't have in the past, or people are not ready to commit themselves. How can we help in that matter?
I think a lot of it's going to come down to just making sure to provide information from all angles right now. So I don't know what the commission has in terms of their outreach ability or how they're able to reach out to people. But if they're able to, if it's something where a newsletter or, hey, National Night Out's coming out, just, publicizing the date and time. I do think it'd be best to maybe wait until after the 15th, because that's going to make a big difference in terms of how we proceed. But I know that for us, the way we've done it in the past and the way that I've experienced it when I've been a participant in it, a lot of the times we make sure that we have contact with all the captains, and they're the ones that then send out the information to their neighbors and kind of organize it. And then we meet up to come out and visit as many as we possibly can. So in terms of getting the word out, I think we're doing a pretty good job of it so far. Again, I think a lot of it's overcoming some of that apprehension that people may have regarding kind of stepping back out in the wild, if you know what I mean.
Thank you. Any comment, commissioners? Any suggestion? Do we have a subcommittee? I can't remember. Robert, do we have a subcommittee?
There is not a subcommittee for the National Night Out event.
I'm thinking that, as Sergeant mentioned it, we need to wait for June 15 with the new regulations regarding COVID. And in the past, trying to remember, we used to host a July meeting or not.
There is no July meeting. And
Correct. So that means that for the National Night Out, this is probably the last meeting before the National Night Out. And I'm trying to look at how we can, if indeed it's going to proceed, how we can provide our support to the National Night Out event. Is any way that once it is determined if indeed it's going to proceed, can we send a communication via, I don't know, Facebook or all the different sources to help MPD to have additional captains for the National Night Out?
I think one thing that can be, if there's looking from the commission to get involved, I know that once we kind of get our game plan, because the planning for this event can be, take some time. We have several people that are in charge of it, including myself, to kind of make sure that we're making contact and we're doing what we need to. One of the things I know we will do, though, is as the date gets closer and we're starting to kind of narrow down our neighborhoods, we will probably do, as a department itself, do an advertisement in preparation to kind of advertise, hey, we're moving forward with this. So if you're interested, please contact us, that kind of thing. So I know we'll be doing that on our social media outlets. So I think if that was something where, if you follow our social media, you can probably retweet or share those items to your followers. But I know that's probably, we'll make the announcement out once we get that information. That'll probably be one of the ways we do it.
And a question just came in, if I may, Chair.
Yes.
From Commissioner Sridhar. Are there specific areas in the city that this will happen or can happen?
So we use this a lot we go through our neighborhood watch group. So a lot of this is through established neighborhoods where we already have either a neighborhood watch group or like an HOA group. So a lot of times those are already set up. And then I think once we do the actual broadcast of that information that, hey, we're moving forward with this, if you're interested, then that allows for maybe people who aren't a part of Neighborhood Watch to either, one, inquire about it to see if they want to start one for their neighborhood, but also to get an idea of how they can maybe participate themselves.
So would that be something that as commissioners that we could make happen if there is a neighborhood watch in our neighborhood?
Honestly, I'd have to know what your address is to be able to check off could go and compare with our list. Mm-hmm. If in terms of, I don't know if we in the past, because this will actually be my first time kind of running this program since I took this spot over a year ago and then I got robbed of the opportunity with COVID. But in terms of what list we put out, I don't think we publicize the addresses because a lot of times it's rely upon the neighborhood watch captains to do that. Mm-hmm. But that's something that we can look at.
In the past, any commissioner who wanted to host a National Night Out and being a captain can offer themselves, and they can, and yes, the address is either done within like the street or the park that is closed, or the commissioner will invite the neighbors around their homes for that event, and that event is is included as part of the list. We don't include the name of the who is being the captain, but we mention the area. But in that case, the ones who are attending are basically the ones who have been invited by the captain.
And Chair, I just wanted to alert you, you have two hands raised here, and one from Councilmember Chua and then the other for Commissioner Zong.
Okay, please, Councilmember Chua.
Thank you, Chair, and welcome, Sergeant Jason. Nice to see
Evelyn,
you
how are
again. We're good.
you?
I was once a member of the emergency preparedness for several years as well. So the role of the emergency preparedness commission is we're given a list, like you said, the HOA. So we kind of choose which areas we want to go to, and that's given to us. I don't know if it's going to happen or the CAC commissioners can do the same, because you go to several locations just to see how they're doing it and participate in. We try to do as many as we can as an emergency preparedness commissioner. The most we can probably do is 4 or 5, depending on the locations you pick. And it's really fun because the firefighters are there, the police officers are there, and the neighborhood, they prepare food for everybody. And the firefighters and the police officers, they mingle with the residents and talk about their current, anything that they're doing or any questions from the residents. So make sure to participate, and if you want to join, maybe like Sergeant Jason said, connect with the website, right? The police website, is that right?
I would say either give us a direct call, and then, or once we do the, we're going to be probably broadcasting this on our social media outlets to kind of give an update once we kind of get a better idea of what the county and the state's going to be doing. And then when information goes out, that'll be information on who to call or contact in order to maybe set up if interested.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you. Commissioner Eileen, I think you have your hand.
Yes. So thank you so much for providing us all of this information. I was interested in setting something up for my neighborhood, but since I'm a little new to this still, I'm a little confused as to what something like this would entail. And if we do decide to set something up like this for our own community, because I do think this is really important, will there be like agendas provided, or is that something that we discuss with our own neighborhood? I'm just not sure if there's clarity you can provide on that. And one thing that I wanted to suggest was, I don't know if you all looked at some of the neighborhood kind of apps that are available for outreach, like I don't know, like Nextdoor or something. I'm not sure if those would be a good platform for outreach to different neighborhoods in Milpitas.
Absolutely. So no, it's fine. So in terms of our outlets, in terms of what we will usually kind of put information out onto, we have a Nextdoor app, and we're part of the Nextdoor app. We're also part of Twitter, Facebook, and then Instagram as well. So we do a lot of our press releases. We do a lot of our information in terms of what's going on at the department, or if there's any special events going on. We usually will broadcast through that in terms of like give updates. And then in terms of the actual itinerary or like agendas for the events, ideally what it is you'd have a person who wants to host, or neighborhood watch captain. They would be the point of contact with the department. And then we would kind of work on dates, times, what neighborhood you're going to be kind of setting up in for the neighborhood actual hosting for that date. Once we have you listed as a captain for to host a site, you'll kind of reach out to your neighbors to say, hey, on this date and time, please come and join us. We'll try and provide the paperwork that you can kind of send an email, or if you wanted to go door to door and print out and actually drop on in people's mailboxes, that's something you can do as well. And again, there's no agenda in terms of like trying to send a message. We're just trying to send a message to community, where we're trying to get people out of their houses, maybe not shaking hands as much as we used to, but at least, saying hi and kind of opening those conversations. And once we have an idea of who is going to be the captain, we try and then set up, times where we can meet. So obviously right now with 35 yeses, we have to work with officers going for multiple homes of the day. So a lot of times our times that we may be stopping by maybe for like 20 or 30 minutes at the most, where we can kind of mingle and chat and kind of answer questions as best we can. And a lot of it depends on how many different neighborhoods and actual host sites that we're going to. So it could be a shorter amount of time depending on the staffing that we have and able to get to the different places. But again, we're trying to work with and get that conversation going. To kind of explain a little better.
Yes, thank you for answering this question.
Let me share with you my experience as a captain for the new commissioners who might want to join. So I have been doing it for several years. And what we do as a captain, we get the information from MPD, and they usually prepare like a draft or a little flyer with the event. And what we do is we go around with the flyer, we make copies of the flyer, and we go around our neighborhood and to invite them for the event. And let's say we want to do it at 5 or 6 o'clock. There are captains like I know some former CAC members that they used to do it in their front yard, in their front porch, and they host over there. They have kind of a potluck. They have some drinks. I know that changes because of the COVID, so we have to know what is okay, what is not. In our case, we have half a block from our house is Synod Park, and we hosted that over there at the park. And so we have a table over there, a sign-in sheet usually to get their emails and get communication to let them know. Police officer, they stop by, they intermingle, they express what it's all about how it's important to have maybe I don't know, video cameras, so we can join and have them. So if it's needed by the police, they can contact us. Also, they talk about some safety measures. In some occasions, we have had visitors from the fire department. And then we let the neighbors know that this is kind of a potluck, so they all can bring something to share. Now, I know that with COVID, we have to be sure how that's going to work, but that was the idea. And we were there for an hour, couple hours, and during that time, we were getting the visitors, sometimes council members or the MPD to say hi to us, and we were able to know each other basically, and to have more information. And when we cross our faces, when we get out, we know who is our next door neighbor or the one who is around the 2, 3, or 4 blocks that we want to invite. Usually that's kind of my experience. I know Ms. Batillo was before also captain. I think you raised your hand, Thelma?
Yes. What I wanted to share is, for example, for the people that haven't attended a neighborhood night out or has not hosted, it's best for us to, well, what we do before is we choose the 3 to 4 places that we're going to go to. The thing is because, you could time it where the police will be there at the same time. That's okay too. But it's really a kind of dynamic moving along kind of thing, because once you visit one location, you don't really want to look really in a hurry. So you're there for like 15 minutes. And then by the time, if you start at 6 o'clock and finish at 8, it's very dark already. So, so that's about when it becomes darker at that time. Anyway, I encourage everybody to, if we could have the police share with us the list of locations. We can choose 3 different locations for each one, and make sure that it's okay if we don't get to visit everybody. It's just that that's a good experience in itself. I think that's going to work out. Whether we have 20 or 30 this year, that's okay too. And then by next time, we should remember, if nobody did it in your area, then you could host, and at least you have an experience what it looks like. Yeah, that's about that. And be ready to eat. No. Thank you.
Any other question or comment?
I had a question, and kind of ties into what Commissioner Zhang asked. Since I'm also one of the new commissioners, and unfortunately, due to COVID, we never got an opportunity to experience the National Night Out. I had a question with regard to the what is the duration, and what exactly how do we get in touch with you to find out if our neighborhood has a neighborhood watch? I'm not aware of one since I've lived there. So, how do we make this happen for our neighborhood? I know that you mentioned that you need the address, but how do we get in touch with you, or how does this work?
I believe Matt has my information. So if Matt wants to hand it out to the commissioners, I have no problem him sending my email out. So that's fine. In terms of, and then I can work with one of our officers he's kind of the keeper of the list, as I call him. I can have him look to see if your neighborhood or where you fall into, and maybe reach out to that nearest captain. And if there isn't one and you're interested in hosted, then we can put you down as a potential host. In terms of the duration, I believe the chair is correct. It's usually about 2 to 3 hours, depending on certain ones are a little later, because a lot of times a captain will set up the time that works best for their neighbors, because they want to make sure that they can be as inclusive as possible. And sometimes earlier times work best, and sometimes the later time works best. And so once we get a schedule of who's going to be hosting from when to when, then we start to break it down in terms of all the different places that we would try and visit, at least as a department itself. And so a lot of times when we do these things, it's usually going to be based on how quickly we can get from one place to another. So we try and have one officer maybe visit a string in a neighborhood and then move somewhere else. I think in the question there was it's going to be the 3rd. So it should be August 3rd, which is a Tuesday.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Of course.
Any other comments?
Yeah, will the city council still meet on that first Tuesday, or what did we decide? I forgot. They mentioned something about that, no? Because before, the city council also goes around different blocks.
I think I reached out to Rochelle regarding because we've done it on Thursdays, we've done it on Tuesdays, depending on when the city council is most able to kind of be available. I was told that the 2nd is still, the 3rd, the Tuesday should be appropriate.
So this is Ashwini Kantak, Assistant City Manager. Council actually approved sort of canceling the first Tuesday's council meeting.
Right.
And so there will not be a council meeting. We're polling for a special council meeting that week. And so council members should be able to join as well.
Great. Is the non-emergency police number still the same? 408-586-2448. Sorry.
2400, ma'am.
Huh? 2400.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is that the best number to contact you?
That is the best number. That'll be routed through our front desk, and then they can route it to either myself or officer in the SAC, who we both work in the PCR department.
Will you be able to share the possible locations for this neighborhood night out with Robert Masalam, or
You mean the existing captains?
yes, or the ones that
I don't want
agreed
to
to
give
do
out
it?
the information because that essentially would be giving out people's private information. I think what we would do is we would best check to see if if you were able to speak with us, and then we can say, hey, there's a captain who's like around the corner from you, and kind of use that as an objective.
Yeah, what we had before was an Excel sheet that says who's the captain and where the location is. We actually didn't need to contact the person itself. We just need a general location where they're going to be at. Like mine was like a park, and it says there like I was the captain in the park, where the location of the park.
Commissioner Batillo, if I may,
Yes. Yeah.
Since this is all sort of fluid at the moment, perhaps we can wait and see what happens on the 15th, and then our team can coordinate with Sergeant Speckenhuer and send out all the relevant information to the commission. So any flyers, any additional information that we can distribute so that you all can have ample time to prepare, we can do that. I think at this time we may not have all of the information available to say yes or no to your question.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this point, we are going for August, correct me if I'm
3.
wrong, August the 3rd.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, and maybe you can keep us informed. You can contact Sergeant Especkhauer and let us know more or less the next steps. As it was mentioned by Commissioner Batillo, in the past, we were able to get the list and we were able to look at the ones that we were going to join. Whatever decision is being made that can help us to join different national out events. And again, that also gave in the past the opportunity for some of us to step up and make become a captain. So if that area where we live, there is no one that has been hosting, no captain that has been hosting or hosted the previous year, we usually step in to become one. Okay, anything else that we need to know? And we appreciate our sergeant for his presentation. Any additional question? If not, we move to the next item in our agenda. Going once, going twice. Thank you very much, Sergeant, for your help and support. I know you're new into this, and it's an important event. And thank you for the city to accommodate the fact that the city council, the city meeting is being moved. Thank you very much.
Actually, you guys have a wonderful evening.
Thanks. Next item in the agenda, city liaison reports. Councilmember Evelyn.
Yes.
Chua.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Chair. I have nice to see everybody. It's only once a month, so it's always such a good thing to see everybody again, safe and happy. So you're a lucky commission because it's always like the day after a council meeting. So you get all the fresh news from the council. So last night we did an ordinance on banning smoking at multi-unit housing, because this is not, and also there's funding for education on why not to smoke, why not don't smoke type thing. So that was good. And also Beautify Milpitas is, we have plans to do it once a month for 12 months. We'll see what happens, but the next one will be the cleanup time. The cleanup place will be Starlight Park at the Pines, and it's on June 19th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I also made a recommendation to participate in the once a year cleanup, not nationwide cleanup, where all the cities, everybody at our nation will do a cleanup. So that would be something exciting. It's kind of like our national night out, and this is going to be a cleanup day for us. That's new to us as well. Yesterday, I have two videos for you, and the first one is a PSA. It's a public service announcement on mental health. All the council members did this. And the second one is my first time I attended the pinning of the badge. This is when we swear in and pin the badge of new police officers. There were 3 of them. So please enjoy. Thank you, Robert.
No problem, council member. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up. There might be a little bit of a delay given the amount of video bandwidth. So let me see if this works and we will give it a shot. Okay, let me see. Let me know when you see a black screen.
We see it.
Okay, so let's try to play it now.
I'm Council Member Evelyn Chua, Milpitas. A few years ago, I was invited to participate in a task force to address mental health in our local high school. Today, there is an alarming mental health crisis among our youth.
I think we lost audio.
Oh.
Okay, how did that sound?
It didn't go through.
At all?
We
There was
lost part of it,
no
Robert.
audio? Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little bit of a challenge. This is such a large video file and all of us are on video.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a bandwidth issue. I could try it again.
Yeah, try it again, might work this time.
Maybe not mute yourself, Robert. I guess if you mute yourself, the audio gets muted. I think, I don't know.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
And for the bandwidth, I think all of us should stop your own video.
Okay, 1 second.
I'm Council Member Evelyn Chua of Milpitas. A few years ago, I was invited Poor Robert.
It's a little bit of a challenge. Give me a second. I apologize.
It's all right.
I need to do something different here. Here we go.
I could see Jason speak, but there's no audio.
Robert, do you think I can share it?
It might be the same issue. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to
Oh.
figure something out here. I apologize for the delay.
All right.
In the meanwhile, can I ask a question, Chair? I had a request as to how to get in touch with Sergeant Speckenhauer. So if somebody can share that information.
Yes, staff will send out that information after the commission meeting. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, so we should see a black screen now.
Yes.
I am unmuted. Let's give it a second shot.
I'm Council Member Evelyn Chua of Milpitas. A few years ago, I was invited to participate in a task force to address mental health in our local high school. Today, there is an alarming mental health crisis among our youth. Pressure from schoolwork, peers, parental expectations, gun violence, racism, and the pandemic. If you or anyone you know needs help, please call 855-278-4204. 855-278-4204. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes, went
Okay.
through.
Wonderful. Okay. Now we have a second video.
Then the next one should be better. It's more lively. So anyway, while we're waiting on the night out, you can serve like ice cream. So what I do when I did many years, like I would eat to a lot of places and I would select which ones I want to go for dessert. So usually I end up at the ice cream place. So that's another. And the other ones, you can have pizza. So you don't have to really do a lot of preparation. Just tell your neighbors, okay, we're having pizza. So that's some, they do Filipino food, some Chinese, and some they're all dessert. So some hot dogs, hamburgers, and all that.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yay. There you go. There you go. There are three new officers. The first one is Andrew Adams. Another one is Andrew Pham. They call each other brothers. So because they're Andrews, and the the other officer is Christopher Newman. I was speaking with the wife of Officer Andrew Adams. I was telling her that I was reading the resume, the resume of Officer Adams, and I said I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, I wasn't finished because it's so long. He has so many wonderful experiences that it's really great. I'm really proud of these 3 officers, and they're really excited to join the Milpitas family. So proud of them. So we hopefully you'll see them at the National Night Out. That would be awesome. Thank you, Robert. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next item on the agenda is any report from the staff, city staff.
Yes, I'm bringing the agenda back up. Just give me a quick second here. I'll try to multitask. So we just concluded Affordable Housing Building Safety Month in the month of May. Our first event was the event that we held, the Community Engagement in Affordable Housing Building Safety Month with the CAC, which was a wonderful presentation by our building safety and housing staff. And our second event was held later in the month in partnership with our partners at the Silicon Valley Independent Living Center and Project Sentinel to discuss some of our housing resources that are available to the community. And I just wanted to report back to the commission that both events were very successful. We had very good engagement, not only during the CAC event, but during the housing resources webinar as well. So just wanted to update you all on that, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and look forward to doing it again next year.
Thank you. Any report regarding the final decision regarding Cdbg?
Yes. So after the May 7th City Council study session, the staff took the council feedback and direction, and will be preparing to come back to the City Council on June 15th for the final allocations. The draft annual action plan will be ready for posting by this Friday on the website. So staff is happy to send out an email to the commission with a link to where they can access that and see the final allocation amounts based on the City Council's recommendations.
Great. Thank you very much. I think that we are just for the item number 11 of our agenda, adjournment. If
I make
there's
a
any other comments, who would like to make a motion?
I can make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioner Ritter. Anyone who wants to second the motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Commissioner Batillo, your vote.
That was on.
Commissioner Rosario,
Yes.
and I'm also say yes. So we are adjourning our meeting. We don't have a meeting in the month of July. Looking forward to see you again in August, and hopefully we will get any information prior to that regarding National Night Out, as well as the link in the next few days for the report regarding the Cdbg. Thank you very much for coming, and have a nice month without the meeting. And thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Good night.